Well, everybody, it is official. The drama around Dante is absolutely huge. It's wild. I mainly have been shitposting and yelling at clouds along with everyone's comments. I think everyone's been kind of shitposting and yelling at clouds about this, but it's crazy. Everyone's just very, very annoyed and very vocal online. So they have released a lot of updates, fixes, hotfixes, and plans for their future of Warframe's Dante update. So they are still going to be buffing him, fixing up his stuff slowly, and trying to make him less, I guess, annoying to use line of sight wise. But yeah, we'll see. Either way, I'm pretty casual on this update because I think it's just kind of funny, and Dante's pretty good right now anyways. But hey, let me know what you think. Just don't be crazy about it, because mainly those are the people I've been memeing. The crazy people, you know? But hey, you do you, my dudes, and my non-dudes. So yeah. Deployed hotfixes. This is what they've done so far. PSAs, past couple of days. Deployed hotfix today to improve Tragedy's line of sight checks. I mean, like, it's still not perfect. They have to fix it more. We know that, but it's a lot better than it was. Like, before it was some direct line-to-line line of sight thing. I think it went to they said the enemy's midsection, and when we were testing through the simulacrum, it seemed to be the line of sight at first was the enemy's midsection, seemingly to our midsection or head, probably midsection, because crouching affected it a lot when we were in the simulacrum. We just crouched behind a pipe, and then it pretty much blocked it for most of the enemy, so it's something like that. Either way, it is a lot better now. So if we take a look at this, I think I've already talked about this a little bit. It's getting fixed up, right? It's getting fixed up. If you care to take a look at any of this, pause if you so choose. They're fixing stuff slowly, but you know, it's not gonna be perfect for everybody. That's just kind of how it is, because there's a good chunk of people who want just, oh, line of sight gone, take away line of sight, and then, yeah. What Dante probably, yeah, they're not doing that. I don't think they want to do that at all. That's kind of the idea I think they've given here, but hey, we'll see. They don't want to balance the game around no line of sight map nukes too much after all, which is, I don't know, probably understandable, but hey, who knows? Chaos. Anyways, they've improved line of sight, tragedy, everything like that. 5 meters around the ability. No line of sight checks are required, just kind of hits the enemies, you know, 5 meters, not that far away, so I guess it's just kind of like a default range no matter what, so that's nice, but it hits people more, okay, it does like 3 line of checks more so. It also checks for silhouette. If they had sees their silhouette, like partially in view, it'll hit them, but I think the current bug for this current rendition of line of sight is that Dante himself on screen, I think people are saying, is kind of nerfing the line of sight. Like, he is in the way of the line of sight, so he is blocking the line of sight, and that's obviously a bug and not good. They're gonna make they're fixing stuff up, right? It can hit ragdoll enemies now, so that's cool, and enemies aren't getting like blocked by ragdoll enemies, so that's cool. It's just better overall. I believe I already talked about this in a previous video, but you know, if you want to fully read over it, pause it, but TLDR, it's just better line of sight checks in general and less buggy, but it is still buggy seemingly. More overguard. I don't know, my main thing I like about the overguard is the fact that it's overguard gating and regenerating. I didn't even like care too much about this, but I don't know. I guess people are mad about this here and there. Not really a thing I care about, but you know, it is what it is. More deep Archimedia fixes, and there will be more fixes because shit's breaking. So yeah, that's like the first thing they did. Cool. People, you know, they still want just line of sight gone. Still don't think that's gonna happen. Sorry, I can say that as much times as people think. Just don't think that's happening, right? Shared plans on how they'll do general improvement line of sight checks as a whole in future updates. So they talked about this even more. We botched the line of sight change to Dante. Apologize for sipping in that state, right? One silver line that came from this mistake is that they're revisiting older LOS checks, fixing things up in future updates. So old LOS check. They do a raycast, basically draw a line from you to the enemy center. And I think it was probably from your center or maybe your head, but probably your center. Wasn't your feet, because we checked again, crouching affected it. If crouching didn't affect it, it wouldn't have been line of sight from your feet to the enemy's midsection. I don't know why, but a lot of people are commenting saying that the line of sight went from your feet, yeah, that's just straight up wrong. That's just wrong. It never happened that way, or else the pipes on the ground would have just blocked it. So we checked, and line of sight was seemingly from your Warframe's midsection or head to the enemy's midsection. But they've fixed this up a bit now. They also had the bug with the ragdoll enemies. If they were pulled by vortex, they were just straight up invisible to the enemies. Or ability, the enemies were invisible, yeah. So fun times. Main problem with this approach, aside from the huge ragdoll effect, is that a single raycast can easily just not trigger properly. Small railing between the enemy, abilities like Radial Blind, Fast on Time, Rotor Swell example use the same logic right now. So like, a lot of abilities have always been buggy like this, but like just no one cares. And no one really gave a shit too much. It's only when like a new frame that everyone's noticing, or like everyone's simping about hardcore, it seems, comes out, that everyone freaks out about it. So a little funny. It takes a breath of fresh air Warframe to get some old bugs fixed up, but it's nice that it's getting fixed up for sure. But still funny. New LOS check. First, if the enemy is within 5 meters, no LOS check. They're just visible and you hit them. Then checks if the enemy is being rendered, which works for any enemy on screen, so that's nice. If you see their pinky toe, they're considered visible. Then the enemy is behind you, instead of 1 raycast, does 3. 1 on top, 1 on the center, and finally 1 to the feet. And if any of them are successful, then we determine it is visible. That means false blocks are much less likely. Cool. Again, this should have never happened, but we'll try to make the best of it. Hopefully, overall game will end up better for it. Yeah, sadly, like, sometimes DE just kind of breaks stuff on updates. I don't know if y'all have been playing the game for a long time, but sadly, this is like a little common. Stuff is just here and there, not perfect at all, and pretty borked on updates. I know like Railjack, everything around that was chaos on update because the wait time and how buggy everything was. So it's nothing new, sadly, but they're fixing things. So give it time. It is the woes, the sways of the live service game genre, especially for big updates that maybe ship a little earlier than they should have because, you know, shareholders, please. Who knows, right? But that is what it is, so I cry every time. I think D's private company, right? Steve CEO, shareholders probably Tencent because they're like bought out by them. Who knows how the whole business structure there works, so I don't know. Then shared our plans for a hotfix next week that'll address the following full details here. They're buffing back up page flight, you know, enemies will take those status procs again, improving co-op play between Warframes that give their teammate overguard and Warframes relying on taking damage. So they're gonna like fix up a little bit of the interactions between overguard blocking things like I think Chroma, Rage, Arcane, stuff like that. So let's see how it works. It's been an exciting week for Warframe, actually chaos, just chaos. Anyways, following the very positive launch of Dante Unbound, we threw open the doors of Deep Archimedia and Elite Deep Archimedia. We've been laughing all the way to the bank, their newfound riches and Archon shards. True, I got 4 this week. I got 4 Tau Forged Archon shards and like 2 or 3 regular Archon shards. It's been a little bonkers RNG-wise. I also got a couple legendary melee arcanes, 1 crescendo, 1 duplicate. RNG has been wonky in a good way, so yeah. Anyways, been some missteps, we must take responsibility. Goofs have happened. Regards to Dante, rapid changes, unaware, made big corrections, line of sight calculations are, but put it bluntly, not as good as they should have been on release. I mean, they definitely should have just tweaked up Dante, if only. I don't know how they didn't think that like just going through walls at 30 meters would be just a great idea. There were like 2 things they could do. They either added line of sight, which they seem to have gone for, and they're gonna stick with because the ability is pretty strong overall, or they could have just nerfed the range to 20 or even hell 15 meters, right, on that ult, only for tragedy if they could have, and then turned off LOS. But hey, maybe they've coded the Warframe in such a weird way because the range is universal for all 4 of the abilities. Maybe they'd have to change it up and they'd have to make unique durations for all 4 of the abilities. Maybe they don't want to do that. Maybe it's harder than we think. I have no clue. I just don't know anything, of course, in regards to the game development. Either way, it seems they've gone with a full line of sight. You do need to be in line of sight, and you still have insanely god tier range on your 4th ability. So, like, I don't care. I like it. I'm fine with it. It makes it so Dante is essentially just worse in tile sets that are more compact. It's kind of like Ureli in that regard. Ureli's worse because K-Drive doesn't work that well in compact tile sets, and Dante's worse because he won't be able to hit people, okay? he won't be able to hit people in a small tile set. So, okay. That's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. We never stop reviewing feedback, and in the spirit of making constant improvements to our game, here's a preview and the next steps. So adding back and formalizing the like status damage vulnerability to page flight. So it's like, hey, people can keep on some of those sweet Archon mods if they want. Not bad, not bad. In other words, not just making enemies take more status procs, but also increasing the damage of their status. So yeah, it'll technically be a buff to all of his damage, his 4th ability as well, because more status, more damage on his 4th ability, it ramps up even more. So yeah, Dante strong, Dante nuke, Dante murder. And then we were this in hotfix 35.5.3 because it was unexpected and it was a bug, but they're like, people like it, screw it, we'll add it anyways. The big issue was anyways 4th ability seemingly nuking through the wall and overguard too strong. But I guess this is what they're going with now. Proving the co-op play between Warframes that give their teammates overguard and Warframes that rely on taking damage. Vex armor can charge its damage buff by getting ranged kills and its armor buff by getting melee or ability kills. Vex armor change. This is in addition to the existing functionality. Vex armor buff change. This allows Vex armor to work while having overguard and also in general provides a nice interaction where you can get the buff faster from playing well and not just tanking hits. Yay! You're not just a little meat shield. Good job. So that's a nice chroma buff. Cool. Rage/Hunter Adrenaline will now grant energy when you don't have shield. So Naros and Nidus, or any frame when their shields are temporarily down, can regenerate energy even through overguard. You can expect to see a hotfix next week that adds these items. Other forms of self-damage like combat discipline will also be reviewed in the future. We've definitely heard you on this point, not just sure if we've done as quickly as the other interactions already mentioned. Yeah, so like people are still chatting about the LOS, not LOS, good points, bad points, yelling, understandable, you know. People are all over the place with all of this. It's a little chaotic for sure. Just burning buildings, yelling, But I mean, it seems kind of clear they don't want an easy peasy 30-meter AoE map nuke, and they don't want to rely on not having LOS for an ability like that. But hey, who knows? I doubt they'll add it back, but if they, I doubt they'll take away the LOS, you know, add back the non-LOS, but we'll wait and see. I think what we're just going to get out of here, as they say, is just way more line of sight fixing, and maybe some old Warframes will become a lot better than they used to be for some abilities. Whether we notice it or not, it'll be nice. So yeah, that'll be cool. But generally, as long as you're running around using abilities, you're gonna hit the enemies in line of sight here and there no matter what and kill them. But yeah, line of sight just means you can't nuke your entire room with like 0 effort, right? So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if they revert anything. We'll see if they don't revert anything. But I think they're just gonna start improving line of sight and everything now. I don't think we're gonna get a ton of buffs after this page flight and maybe a line of sight buff or two. So we'll wait to see how that plays out, but that seems to be the general direction they want to take the update. Whether people like it or not, it just doesn't seem like they want to take away line of sight now. So we'll wait. Dante usage stats were probably a little crazy. Maybe they've calmed down now. If anyone does want a refund, I think you can always ask Warframe Zendesk for a refund if you bought Dante and if you don't want him anymore because of the nerf. Like, you can always get a refund. Sucks that you might have to if you like really don't like him anymore, but yeah, I think that's the route you go if you think he's ruined to you by line of sight. So go there, do that, I guess, if you need to, and don't buy stuff if you want to, you know, generally boycott something. Don't buy it and stay away from it, right? But it looks like Warframe's player count right now, after the Dante Unchained weekend update and everything, is yeah, looking like it's going back up. So I don't know, looks like the update's a little okay. Yeah, only time will tell. If you want to boycott it, refund Dante, and then maybe don't play the game. But if you like the update, don't refund it and continue playing the game. I don't know, vote with your wallets, right? Vote with your wallets, vote with your game time. It's the only thing you can do. So let me know how that goes for you, and we'll see how all of the updates and fixes, whatnot, end up in the next like week. So yeah, we have new Warframe drops on Monday, and other than that, dev stream probably in 2 weeks, and Protea Prime news, I hope, this month. And other than that, the last thing is Prime Resurgence swap out in 5 days. 5 days? 5 days. Yeah, pretty much. So that's all the general news. We'll just have to wait and see. It's the weekend after all, though, so there's not going to be like news Saturday, Sunday until Monday/Tuesday. So we wait and see. The chaos continues, but things will get fixed up. So yeah, it's not a massive issue. The world's not on fire. It's just a Warframe after all. Cheers, cheers.